guys, it's coffee time. Some of you already watched a coffee time from today, and for some of you this will be the only one from today because I deleted the other one. Reason being that there was basically no audio. I've learned now that when I unplug my webcam and plug it back in, it'll just choose whatever microphone it wants to use instead of the one that has normally been utilized with it, which is sad. So it chose a microphone that was over there, so obviously it was not picking up very well at all, which was very sad for me. It's like, why? I knew that there was something wrong because you can tell I was like ready to go to bed. And then I went, oh, I should check and see how the video's doing. And I look, and it has a bunch of dislikes. And I was like, all right, what went wrong? And the second I started it, I went, why can't I hear myself? Some of you were able to listen to the whole thing, which I applaud you. But I'm going to tell the exact same stories. So you don't need to watch this. But if you want to, enjoy me retelling everything. Yes. So now we know. Now we know that I need to check my microphone before I use the webcam, especially if it's just been unplugged, because that's apparently a thing. But so, okay, let's go in order this time. We'll change it up. We won't tell all the stories at the same time. So yesterday, what I did was, well, in the morning, I mean, I had coffee and enjoyed my morning, like the sort of person who, you know, maybe spends an entire morning on Tumblr. That's the morning that I had. And then I went and had a fantastic lunch with the Oxcast, and we went to see Man of Steel, which was disappointing. I think we all gave it a 5 or a 6 out of 10, which is sad because I was so excited for that movie. But, you know, the more trailers that came out, the more I started to second guess myself. And I thought, this is a Schneider movie. Like, this is probably going to be a little bit upsetting. Just ever so slightly upsetting to me as a person. And you could tell from the trailers that it was probably going to be a very serious movie, which it is, by the way. I counted 2 moments in which they tried to be lighthearted or funny, and it didn't quite hit the mark. It was just, if I were to explain it to you in one phrase, it would be that it had good intentions, but was executed poorly. So take that how you will, but I don't know, the movie itself was just very disappointing. I wanted a lot more out of it. I loved the way that the first half went, but as a person who absolutely loves fight scenes, I felt that the fight scenes went on for far too long and had no real heart or meaning or purpose behind them. We were comparing it with, say, Avengers, where they said, look, we gotta have a scene that is Iron Man versus Thor. We need that fight to happen. So figure that out, Joss. And Joss was like, all right, and gave it a purpose. He gave it a reason to be there. The fight scenes in Man of Steel went on for so long. And yes, there were moments where things changed a little, but there were multiple points during that fight where I said, all right, this is a good time to stop. And it just didn't. It didn't feel like it was written in a way where you cared. And it wasn't inventive or interesting the way that it was choreographed and put together. So I was disappointed in the fighting. The actual drama of it was good, but you could tell that here was Snyder and here was Nolan just like right here, just like breathing on his neck like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool right now if you did this. So, I don't know. It was a disappointment. I would say wait until it's on Netflix or on TV, or for some reason your friend buys it because maybe they're super into Superman and just own every single Superman movie regardless of if they're good. Borrow it from that guy because it's not worth paying the amount of money that is necessary in order to go to the cinema. And we watched the 3D version and that didn't, I mean, it didn't make it better. But you guys know my feelings on 3D. I'm not big into 3D anyway, so So those are my feelings on Man of Steel. But I did get to sit next to Hannah at the theater, and we were both just like, oh my gosh, Smaug is so pretty, because they had a Hobbit trailer that went, and apparently that doesn't happen for everybody. There was a Hobbit trailer at ours, and it just, like, the trailer felt like it was pretty much done, and I was like, I swear to God, if they don't show me Smaug. And then Smaug was right at the end, and I was like, I'm so happy. Got a Smaug scene. Hannah and I were both like, yay, dragons! I'm just so happy. And, what other trailers were there? Paranoia, which was one of those trailers where it literally told you the entire story in the trailer, and now I have no reason to see it. Hobbit, and what was the other one? Oh, Pac Rim. Pac Rim. So excited for that movie. I want it now. I want that movie, like, as soon as possible. Just give it to me. I want to see it so bad. So yeah, we have to do that and hang out. And Duncan and I finally exchanged words like adults. Look, I said this in the last video, and I'm just going to repeat myself, and I don't even care. I'm going to marry all of them. All of the Oxcast members, I'm just going to marry all of them, and we're going to live a fantastic life together. And that's my plan. Because I just love them all. Like, there's no member of Yogscast. For those of you who are super into Yogscast, and I know that there are plenty of you who watch my videos. Any of you who are like, I wonder what they're like in real life. They're all awesome. That's my answer. Like, there's just, like, I love them all. Anyway, so that was my day yesterday, and then I went over to hang out with Jeannie and Isaac and Rosti and all of them, all the like, the TGS networky people, and we sat outside. This is what we did. Dar took a picture of us and uploaded it on Twitter, and we were like, God, we look just so silly. So I finally played Animal Crossing, right? Finally played it, and it's great. Problem was that I went over to hang out with everybody, and they were like, hey, we should just all, like, play Animal Crossing. But, you know, like, let's sit outside. So we built a fire. We sat outside in the middle of the night, all playing our 3DSs, all, like, in one person's town, running into each other and stealing each other's bugs and running on each other's flowers like asses. And then everybody else came home and found us like that, just all of us in a row, playing 3DS with fire. They were like, what are you doing? It's like 5 different people that showed up, just disappointed, so disappointed in us. But none of them play Animal Crossing, so, you know, they just didn't understand. I'm starting to understand. I haven't fully gotten enthralled into the Animal Crossing thing yet. I played for like a few hours, and then I closed it up, and Jeannie was like, what are you doing? Why did you put your 3DS away? I was like, oh, I feel like I'm done for today. She was like, what? It's like Animal Crossing operates in real time. So whatever time you've set it to, it'll like work with that. So for me, it asked me at 10 p.m., it asked me whether or not it was 10 a.m. And I was like, yeah. But it wasn't. And so now, my daytime is during the night. And I know I can fix that if I want to, but it made it so that if I want to play that game, you know, it's just, I have to play it at night, because otherwise it's nighttime. I mean, you can, like, fish at night and things, I think. But yeah, I haven't played, like, a ton of it, but it's very fun. And etc. So that was my day yesterday, and slept over at their place because Angie was going to be picking me up this morning so that we could all go, I don't care, phone, so that we could go and get my face cast, which I'll get to in a second. But last night I was so sad because we finally, okay, none of them had watched the finale of Game of Thrones, and Jeannie had not seen the last episode of Hannibal. And so we all sat down and watched Game of Thrones. And then I was like, Jeannie, are you awake? Are you ready for the last episode of Hannibal? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. So she like busted out her Mountain Dew. I was chugging water. We were like, we're going to stay awake and we're going to do this. And obviously I love that show, so I will watch this episode again. And there's a point when you have this sort of relationship with somebody where during the act of watching a piece of television or media that you both love, there will be some back and forth and some interaction, even in like little sounds. I know the exact moment when Jeannie passed out, and it was really early on in the episode, and I'm just like, oh, Jeannie, you missed everything. But I still watched the entire thing. I was like, oh, I can't stop it now. I mean, it would be so counterproductive. But at the same time, there was a piece of my brain that felt guilty. Like, what if she wakes up right at the end and sees the very end but doesn't know what led up to it? Like, that'd be awful. Oh, so that was the thing. But then this morning, Angie picked me up, and we went and I got my face cast for a project that I can't tell you about. I'm very excited about it. So like the act of getting a mold made of your face, and actually we did from here up on me, including my ears. And I have had that done before, but like literally only like this much of my face. So we did that again, and it was awesome. It's so calming for me, but claustrophobia is a big issue with people who are getting their face cast, because if you are claustrophobic at all, this is not going to be fun for you whatsoever. So in the past, when I've done it on other people, because I've made molds of probably like 20-something people's faces, but when you do it, if they, well, really, you should give them a piece of paper and a pencil so that you can ask them questions, make sure they're doing okay, and they can respond with like specifics that they need to. But definitely anybody who says, oh yeah, I'm a little claustrophobic, you're like, just here, have this pad and a pen, and we'll check in with you and hold your hand and anything you need, right? So, yeah, so I like laid down with this garbage bag on me, and there's going to be behind the scenes stuff of this. This is not for Pack Rim or anything, it's for a different project, but had like a garbage bag wrapped around me, so I was just like bare from here up, laying down, and they just put this alginate all over me. And alginate is really interesting because once there's like a decent layer on you, especially over your ears, everything sounds very far away. So the more alginate they put on me, it almost sounded like running water. And when people talk to me, it sounded very muffled. So it literally feels like you're underwater, but you can breathe. And that is so fascinating and so comforting to me. And then they put the plaster bandage on, which gets heavy real quick because it's plaster. So they're putting the plaster bandage on, and so it's just like this weight is getting heavier and heavier on all of this part of your body. I thought I was going to fall asleep, but I kept thinking to myself, like, man, if I was claustrophobic at all, this would freak me out. Like, this is no joke. That thing is no joke, but it was really nice. I was excited to see that, and I got to have some pictures of the actual plaster part of my face. Apparently, I didn't know this, if you work with cold water, it takes a lot longer for it to cure, but it gets the details more accurately. So, like, we looked at the mold afterward, and Greg looked so disappointed. He was like, oh, there's some bubbles on there, and I mean, it's okay, like I can sand them down, but we won't have any skin texture anymore, and that just, oh, dang it. You know, just like literally little bumps like this big, like speckled on different random places in my face. And I was like, yeah, it's okay, at least they're popping out and not going in, you know, you can get rid of those. And he was like, yeah, but there won't be any skin texture. He's just like so sad. And I was like, oh, Greg, it's okay. Yeah, so did that. That was literally my whole morning, and that was really cool. And I can't tell you about the project again, but I can tell you, or at least guide you along the line of reasoning of, if you were to get a plaster version of yourself made, and you didn't have the option of putting it on a pillar in the middle of your extravagant household, what would you maybe be using that for? What would you maybe be needing this person's exact face for? Some of you are going to make this dirty. You've already done it. You're already thinking of the perfect response, and it's going to be so puntastic, and I can't wait to see it. But think more along the lines of, if you needed to sculpt something extra onto somebody's face so that they could then put that something extra on their face, it could be something pretty cool. Prosthetics, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm leading you. I'm very jazzed. I'm very jazzed to see what that winds up looking like. But I spent the rest of the day after all of that was done, and Angie was just so sweet. It was like, this will only take like 20 minutes. Lol, 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 lol. It took like 2 hours. And so I bought her lunch and coffee, and we hung out for the rest of the day. And it was really fun because this whole weekend just felt very casual and relaxed, regardless of what I was doing, really. But it was cool hanging out with Angie because she basically said, hey, do you want to just do whatever on Sunday? Like, just enjoy each other's company. And I was like, sure. So she got to work on costume stuff. She sat in the living room. She cut out all sorts of pieces. She hemmed a couple dresses, did costumey things. And I sat on the couch and played with her dog and watched TV, and we just, talked. And it's also Father's Day, so I called my daddy and talked to him for a little while, and it was just a good, relaxed day, but I also feel like I did something, I mean, aside from making a video that had no audio. Did other things. And then I made a video that had no audio. On purpose, obviously. Because I wouldn't do that for faces. So dumb. I need to be looking to see what mic I'm using. I need to be doing that. List of to-dos. Always look to see what mic is selected on the webcam. Marry everybody in Yogscast. And then get another cat. Watson Kitty. I'm moving out, by the way. I know we just moved into this room. It's so silly. But yeah, in like a couple of months, probably end of summer or early fall, I will be moving out of here into my own place finally, and I'm very excited about that. I love my roommates. They're fantastic. But you guys know I've had big plans to get a place and have a craft area and cook silly foods and get another cat and all these sorts of plans. And I was looking at the amount I make, and I was like, I think that I could do this. I think that if I'm smart with my money, I can do this, and that'll be nice. And so we all had family meeting and talked about it, and that's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna start looking for places. But oh my goodness, Kitty, I didn't even realize you were there. I just saw something shake out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, I thought he was on the bed. That was so weird. Whatever, it's not, I wasn't freaked out by my cat being a weirdo. It's dumb. Anywho, so that was my weekend. I tried to upload a video from my phone yesterday, and that did not work. I'm trying different apps, because you know how normally when I upload from my phone, it has the big bars on all the sides and all that? So apparently there are apps that are supposed to keep that from happening, that actually upload correctly. So I'm trying to use those, but those are also not really working. So, whatever. Whatever, girl. Yeah. So I hope you guys had a good weekend, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Mwah.